I was actually interviewed by someone from the Times newspaper before the election, and I said to them, if Labour gets in, there'll be riots in the streets. And within a week, there was riots in the streets.
He's Tory, middle of the road image, isn't he, really? Which is what matters in these days of, wokeism and populism and all the rest of the isms.
He, in my opinion, doesn't really understand what people need in his local area, but that doesn't mean he doesn't understand what the country needs as a whole.
What do you make of Robert Jenrick?
By British MP standards, I suppose he's all right, really, which is a very low standard, having said that.
To be honest, I don't have an opinion at all with the Conservative Party at the moment because I think they're in such a mess. I don't think it really matters who the leader is. It just seems in complete disarray to me. I voted Tory most of my life and been a Tory councillor for quite a considerable few years. And I just think it's just a bit of a mess at the moment, and I'm not quite sure how they're going to get out of it.
Did you vote for him in the last election?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Were you happy? Was that a vote for Robert Jenrick or was that a vote for the Conservative government, would you say?
Both, I would say, yeah.
What did you like about the Conservative government?
It's hard. I know everybody's complaining, but you know it's like trying to run your own house and your own finances. You imagine a government trying to run the whole country. They're bound to have issues and things going wrong. And
obviously I'll have a lot of people disagree with me, but our main people in Newark, I think the voices that are most heard in Newark are the older generation and, more middle-aged people and whatnot, which makes sense if it's the majority of our population in Newark. But I'd say there's quite a lot of people our age, if not younger, maybe a little bit older in Newark, and, I never hear them have a say in what's going on in our area. So, yeah.
I was actually interviewed by someone from the Times newspaper before the election, and I said to them, if Labour gets in, there'll be riots in the streets. And within a week, there was riots in the streets.
It wasn't in protest of the Labour government, though, was it?
Well, yes and no, but I think there'll be a lot more riots yet. The things are going to.
Is that your prediction, as the Nostradamus of Newark?
Yeah. It's all the things they're going to do. Us poor old pensioners, we'll just have to wait and see.
How do you think the government are getting on at the moment, the new Labour government?
I think they're crap. We've had a series of really dreadful prime ministers. We had Boris Johnson, who was a disaster, the lettuce woman, the Hindu guy, millionaire. Now we've got a millionaire human rights lawyer who, frankly, doesn't seem to grasp the plot. Nobody sort of consults the people about anything. So he's obviously a common market man. He's talking to the Germans and the French, which is the last thing this country wanted. We voted to be out of the common market. He wants to go in. I think he's got everything wrong, and his team are appalling. I'm thinking of the energy guy, can't remember his name.
Ed Miliband.
Ed Miliband, yes, one of the dreadful Milibands, yes. Sort of Jewish Marxist antecedents. His brother was all right, but Ed Miliband's terrible. The women, words fail me, frankly. They're just, weirdos, really. Probably Rachel Reeves would get by, but the rest of them, they're just,
I think when you look at what's happening with the government right now, it was bad before. It's probably even worse now under Labour. I think it was kind of, when it came to the election, it was, which of the two bad people do you pick kind of thing, because as you can see with what's happened so far, it's not been great. It wasn't great under Conservatives, and, you shouldn't have people that are choosing over eating or heating, in my opinion. I don't think it's right.
You see, Labour haven't done a good job. They've had less than 2 months to do anything. They're still dealing with the Conservative government hangover. So do you think it's fair to say that they've not done a good job so far?
I don't think they've done a good job so far, but again, you've got to kind of gauge them over the next 2 or 3 years. I think the start they've had has not been great. I think Keir Starmer is creating a massive divide within the UK people. He is coming across in a way that I don't really like. He doesn't seem to be thinking about the people that need their help. He's thinking about the people that doesn't necessarily need help.
Is there anything specific that makes you say that?
I just think he's kind of the whole way he has treated the immigration problem hasn't been great. I think as a country we can see we are basically creaking under the weight of immigration. Immigration for our country is hugely important. It enriches our country as a whole, but at the same time we can't dilute our resources to bring people in. If it affects the people that already live here, I don't think it's really fair to have them be the victims in this case, which I think is the case. You try and get a doctor's appointment now, you try and get an appointment at the dentist, it's ridiculously hard. The Australian immigration policy, in my opinion, is one that we should shadow. You know, their immigration policy is fair. They want to bring people into the country that enrich the country in many different ways, and I don't think we're really getting it right in that respect right now. Immigration is huge for our country. We wouldn't have an NHS without immigration. We need immigration, but we need it to be done in the correct manner.
The thing that's actually on everybody's mind, I think, is actually immigration, and we can't keep taking all these people. We're farmers, so in actual fact, there's a lot less land. A lot more is going to be built on. We need all these houses, they say. So we just can't take any more, I don't think. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, everything is so grim. People are depressed. People are ill. Nothing works. You know, everything is breaking down. The health service, the courts, the police. You name it. So he couldn't do much worse, really.
He's only been in government for less than 2 months. I wouldn't ascribe that to him.
2 months, is it as long as that? Heavens. I just think, you know, his problem is there's shades of sort of Big Brother and Animal Farm in the background there, the unions and all the, you know, pseudo-Marxist and Trotskyist stuff. So, you know, he's not going to be able to escape from the plot anyway because they'll hold him down to it.
I do worry about the influence that the unions have over the Labour Party. I think that, and actually think that they'll all want rises, and actually I think there'll be, where's the money coming from? Unless it comes from taxes, which will probably, you know, we'll have to pay. I did see this morning as headlines in the paper that one of the taxes they're going to put on would possibly be on fuel. Extra taxes on fuel. I think we're all going to have to pay for it, aren't we? So I think, and actually, as for getting rid of the laws that actually Margaret Thatcher brought in, and then David Cameron increased a little bit as against actually what strength that the unions have, what they can actually do to hold the country to ransom, really. And I don't think that's fair.
What did you vote for him at the last election?
I did, yes.
What is it you like about him?
Well, I suppose he's one of the younger ones, and he's, you know, he can use a knife and fork and all the rest of it.
That's a low bar.
Well, he's Tory, middle of the road image, isn't he? Really, which is what matters in these days of, wokeism and populism and all the rest of the isms.
Did you guys vote at the last election?
We did, yes.
Who did you vote for?
Labour.
Yeah, Labour as well, yeah.
Why did you vote Labour?
Just don't agree with Reform or Conservative, so I thought, well, they're the next biggest one, so I'll vote for Labour.
You're not one of Robert Jenrick's constituents,
No.
but your husband is a member of the Conservative Party.
That's right.
What is your opinion of Robert Jenrick, would you say?
I think he, even though I say he's not our MP, I think he's been a very good MP for the Newark area, while ever he's been there, so, to be honest, yes.
Why do you say that?
Because I think he has Newark's... it's in his heart to actually help the place. He's worked very hard, I think, to get things moving here. Things like improving the road network, the ring road, and yeah, he has Newark's interests at heart.
Did you vote at the last election?
No.
Why didn't you vote?
No, good question. I don't vote because I don't think I know enough about politics to make my mark.
Really?
Absolutely.
But everyone should vote, or everyone has the opportunity to vote. There's a reason you've got it.
Yeah, for that reason, because I don't really have an interest in politics. I'm honest, you know, and I trust that whoever gets in does a good job.
If Robert Jenrick was watching this, was listening to you right now, what would you say to him?
I would say that I trust him to do his thing.
Do you think Robert Jenrick should be the next leader of the Conservative Party?
I think he should, yeah. I mean, as my own personal opinion aside, I think Robert Jenrick probably has got qualities that the Conservative Party need. He, in my opinion, doesn't really understand what people need in his local area, but that doesn't mean he doesn't understand what the country needs as a whole.
It's quite incongruous if you can't get to grips with what people here need. Obviously, the UK is a much larger area.
It is. I think the way to look at it with Robert Jenrick is does he understand what the country needs if he doesn't understand what his local constituents need? I think that's a big problem for the people who will potentially vote for Robert Jenrick. But when I look at the other candidates he's up against, I think he would be a clear favourite to win any vote in regards to leadership.
Did you vote for him at the election?
I didn't. I always vote for the Green Party. That